I'm telling you right now, the reason that we have Shump and Vince on opposite sides of this table is because it has been heated this morning on what happened. I'm going to show you the highlight. We're going to dive into it as we go. Mel Kiper has his last mock draft up right now. He's got 2 quarterbacks in round 1 and a huge trade. We'll get to that in a minute. But let me start with the thriller in Charlotte last night, the 9-10 game in the East. Pick it up in the second quarter. I want you to watch closely what happened. LaMelo Ball and that big man, Bam Adebayo. Vince, we're going to see LaMelo going to the hole. He's going to the floor and then grabbing the foot of Adebayo. What do you see?
I see at least a flagrant 1 and maybe a flagrant 2. Too bad it wasn't reviewed.
It was not looked at. There was no call on the floor. Adebayo would not return to the game. We're going to dive deeply into whether that should have been different. Meanwhile, go to the fourth quarter. Hornets down by 6, but not for long. Watch them move the ball. Bridges, 4-3. He's got it. It's a 3-point game. 13 seconds left. Hornets down 3. Knipple wondering who's going to be their hero. Kobe White. Tough shot. Hey, how does he get that to go?
Back in North Carolina, man. That's all. It feels good to be in North Carolina, huh, Coach?
Tough shot. 48 minutes. Insufficient to settle the issue. In a winner-go-home game, we're in overtime. 2 minutes to play. Hornets up by 3. Bridges. How about this move?
Hey.
Left hand. He would score 28. Hornets by 5. 26 seconds left in overtime. Desperation time. Season on the line for the Heat. Down 5. Tyler Hero. How tough is this shot? In the corner, falling away, and he gets it. So it's a 2-point game. Now Charlotte's next possession. We got ball pressure, quite literally, pressure on ball in the backcourt. And wait a minute, we're going to get a steal.
Smart play because they didn't go and foul. They went for the defense first. Bro.
That's exactly right. And it's Tyler Hero to the corner.
Game.
This is not a smart play. They foul Tyler Hero attempting a 3. He is a 92% free throw shooter. He made the first 2, and here comes the third, and the Heat have the lead with 8 seconds remaining. So let's show you exactly how this finished, and it's a wild finish. Ball gets the ball. Ball to the hole. Ball is up, and it's good. 1-point lead for Charlotte. Miami inbounding. Final seconds. Davion Mitchell stuffed at the hole. The season-saving block by Bridges, and the Hornets hanging on. The celebration in Charlotte for that young group. They send Miami home 127-126. They advance to play on Friday. What a wild game. Hornets get the win despite Ball and Knipple combining to shoot 4 of 28 from 3. Charlotte has not made the playoffs in a decade. That's the longest active drought in the league. They are a win away from changing that. Again, Shump and Vince have total disagreement on what should have happened on the LaMelo Ball play, and we're going to dive into that in just a few minutes. But controversy in the thriller between the Heat and Hornets last night in Charlotte. This was the moment. This was the play. That's LaMelo Ball on the ground, grabbing the leg of Bam Adebayo as he goes down. Adebayo would not return to the game. Ultimately, Charlotte would win by 1 in overtime. Here was Eric Spoelstra after the game.
I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I think it's a stupid play. It's a dangerous play. Obviously, our best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game. Tripping guys, shenanigans, and Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If somebody has got to see that, and that he should have been thrown out of the game, for that.
LaMelo, it kind of looked like on film that you might have grabbed his leg. I mean, did you intentionally grab his leg?
I haven't even seen. Like I said, I got hit in the head. Didn't even know where I was. But, yeah, just playing basketball. But like I said, sorry, and I'm going to check on him.
Okay, so that's his take. Curtis and Zach are 2 of the officials in the game last night, including the crew chief. I'm coming right to you, Vince Goodwill. Should LaMelo Ball have been thrown out of that game in the second quarter?
Iman, Greeny, he's laughing already because, I do think so. I do think that last night when you grab it, when you sweep a player's leg in that way, I understand with the way that the rules are, you could not go as too much back and forth. But had the refs reviewed that, had they known that, Bam was going to be knocked out of the game, there'd have been a flagrant 2. I think at least it would have been a flagrant 1. I suspect the league will take a look at it today and upgrade it to at least a flagrant 1. Zach Zarber is one of the best referees. Curtis Blair was right underneath it. He should have seen it. To me, here's the tell. When you sweep someone and you brush by them by accident, you turn around and be like, hey, did I catch you by accident there? There was no look back from LaMelo Ball. Maybe he was just reckless. And maybe in reckless, by definition, get you at least a flagrant 1, if not a flagrant 2.
Should the call have been upgraded? Or should there have been, let me be clear, there was no call. Should LaMelo Ball have been called there? Should he have been thrown out of the game?
Should it have been a call? Yes. I don't think initially anybody thought that it was what it was once we saw the replay, right? Is LaMelo dead wrong for that? Yes. I'll admit he was wrong. That was a knucklehead play. I'm sure he wants that back. Will he be at WrestleMania? Probably. You know what I'm saying? But do I think that he should be taken away for a game for that? No. Just because this is starting toward the playoffs.
But if they had seen that in that moment, again, to be clear, the reason no call was made, no one saw it, the play continued, action took place further down the court, and so it was too late for them to review it. If they had looked at it, do you believe they should have thrown him out of the game?
All I'm saying is once the play stopped, if our teammate is on the floor saying that it was a dirty play, either the ref's going to have to figure this out or you're going to have an altercation on the court. But our best player is now laying down in a play-in game. And I felt like the reason they kept going because there wasn't any commotion for real. It was just Bam complaining and Spoelstra complaining. But it was like, where are his guys? Where's the cavalry? Where's the guys that said, dog, we not playing? We have an issue now.
Someone should have touched him up.
So, yeah, or at least a hard foul, something. I just felt like in that situation, I saw Bam by himself. Like, even when I saw the replay, I started dialing into my mind of, could he have kept his body in bounds? Did he try and sell the call? It was all type of thoughts. And it's like, if he's down like that, his guys should be around him. There should be some sort of altercation where you have to stop. Let's blow the whistles and stop this to get this underway. But for everybody to keep playing this, because I don't think anybody thought it was super intentional like that.
And secondarily, this is LaMelo Ball's thing. He will grab and trip you. Like there was this incident 2 years ago in Miami. Same player.
Yep, here we go.
Different situation. But he was trying to stop the play, but he reached up and grabbed Bam's leg.
Watch what happens here.
You'll
It's going to happen right here. Keep a close eye on this. Look.
Yeah, LaMelo, man. I want to write it down as a competitor, but when you got clips like this circulating, brother, it makes it tough.
It takes away from a great game. It was a lot of back and forth last night. Miami had instances in regulation and in overtime where they could have walked away with a win as opposed to being in the 9-10 line. They're out now. Like, Charlotte goes on, and we don't know if Charlotte's going to make it into the 8th seed, but it just sullies what was such a
Let's be clear. Bam Adebayo did not play more than half of this game, a game that wound up in overtime, and they lost by 1. Erik Spoelstra can say he's not making an excuse, and that's the right thing for a coach to say, but the reality is it's not an excuse, it's a reason. They lost the game, at least in part because their best player didn't play in it. This is an enormous moment. So, Shum, I'll ask it to you again. If they had called a foul and then gone and looked at it, would you have been on the side and then come to you and said, Shum, what should we do? Should we eject the player for this?
I'm not throwing him out. I definitely would penalize him. Flagrant 1, but I'm not throwing him out. The stakes is too high. I understand emotions go like this and plays like this happen. There's always something that happens within the playoffs that people are like, that's questionable, that's borderline. But when you're playing balls out like that, you're not thinking.
Let me ask you this.
You're just playing hard and you into it like stuff happens.
I'm with you. But what would you have had to see in that for you to say this meets the pale of a flagrant 2? Because I understand you as the ref, you don't want to throw a player out of the game. You don't want to input your stamp on the game. You want the players to decide it. But sometimes the players decide it with their own actions. What would LaMelo have had to do in that spot for you to say this is a flagrant 2?
I don't know. I'm so glad I'm not a zebra. It has nothing to do with me. I can't say it is very unnecessary. It's very unnecessary. But I tell you what, as a teammate, it ain't no way I'm putting that decision in the ref's hands. You tripped my guy. The problem is with you, LaMelo Ball.
Very quickly, do you think the league will look at it now in advance of Friday?
Absolutely, they will look at it. I don't think he will